Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney.
The 4D.
This is actually going to be a 5D. This is a disastrous daily dose of Dismal Disney. Disney thought they were going to be able to reopen Disneyland later this year, and they got shot down by Governor Newsom.
I don't think, if anybody's surprised by this, I'm surprised people are surprised by this. Let's put it that way.
You shouldn't be surprised by this. There's so many Disney blogs and Disney fans. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're not going to open Disneyland this year.
And then other people that have been following it and seeing what's going on are like, okay, well, this is a big surprise there. He went and did this. I mean, heck, we had wasn't it Pro that was calling it out that he didn't think Disneyland would open this year at all, and people said he was an idiot.
Yeah, WDW Pro, who does some writing for us on Pirates and Princesses, put out an article, or put out a piece on, I think it was on the WDW Magic, where he said that he was hearing that they were planning to be down all year in Disney, and people mocked him for that. They're like, that's impossible. Disney's never going to be down
Disneyland, yeah.
They'll never be down that long. And the only reason Disney World's open in Florida, honestly, guys, is because Universal opened too.
Well, because they were more receptive to the idea of getting business back on its feet in Florida as compared to California.
And if it wasn't for Florida, if it wasn't for Disney World, Disney would be incredibly screwed.
Oh, if Disney World hadn't opened right now, I don't even know where they'd be.
They'd probably be asking Apple to buy them out or something. That's like the only major revenue source Disney has at this point. Of course, the theaters are down. Disney Plus is in the hole. It doesn't matter how many subscribers they get. They're years away from it being profitable.
Well, not just that. You have the fact that a lot of people had the free that they got with their Verizon subscription. You got free Disney Plus for a year. Well, that's running out now, and a lot of people aren't renewing it. But when they count the subscriber numbers, that gets counted in that because they consider it, paid through your plan. So those numbers are arguable.
Yeah. So let's talk about what is going on here. Disney had the rug pulled out from underneath them. I believe, from what I'm hearing, they thought they had kind of a deal worked out with Newsom. Then they had this press conference today where they gave an update. Dr. What's-His-Face, I don't remember his name, but Dr. What's-His-Face gave an update to the theme park reopening guidelines. They dropped them, and they basically said that smaller theme parks can open in orange, the orange tier of the multi-tiered California thing, but bigger parks like Disneyland, Universal can't open until they get to yellow, which is basically, at that point, the pandemic's under control. Now, the thing is, nobody knows when Orange County is going to get to yellow. It could take months.
It could take a while to get to orange.
It could take a year to get there.
Well, they even said it. The doctor, the California State's medical person, I don't have his name in front of me. He even said that he's hoping it could be open by summer.
Hoping, yeah. And that's what, it didn't register with Disney fans at first when they made the announcement. They're like, hey, guess what, everybody? Good news. Disneyland's going to open as soon as they get to yellow.
Well, it's just true.
It's like, you dumbasses.
But yellow's not for a long time off.
You dumbasses. I was even on Twitter. I'm like, how long until Disney opens up Six Flags Over Mickey in Texas? Because
that was people were joking about that, but
I don't know if it's a joke, because Disney's gonna have to do something. A lot of businesses are leaving California because they feel like Newsom is effectively holding them hostage, and the theme parks are such a major source of revenue for Disney. They can't be down for another year.
No, and even if they shift focus, it's good. You can't just shift focus. You can't just turn on a dime. It takes a lot of restructuring, a lot of changes. That shifting focus might help in a year or two, but it's not going to help anytime soon.
Yeah, so this is, everybody's talking about this now. California's Director of Health and Human Services, Dr. Mark Galley, that's who it was, said on Tuesday the smaller theme parks can resume operations in the state's orange tier. Capacity will be limited to 25% or 500 visitors in the tiny parks, whichever is fewer. Only outdoor attractions may reopen, and only to guests who are residents of the same county.
Wow, that's sad. So only for small ones when it hits, this is orange, right?
Yeah.
25% or 500 guests, whichever is smaller, but only outdoor attractions, only people that live in the county. What's the point of opening at that point?
That's exactly it. What is the point? So all theme parks, including Disneyland and Anaheim and Universal, may resume operations in Tier 4, which is yellow, which is much further down the road. At that point, the guest limit is 25% across the board, and indoor dining establishments can only operate at 25%. Now, here's where everybody starts slamming on the state, including Universal, including Disney. So here's Universal's statement. We should be in tier 3 along with other industries that have proven they can reopen responsibly, said Karen Irwin of Universal. Our employees are ready to go back to work, and the fact that they won't be able to do so until well into next year is shameful.
Now, other states and other locations across the country have reopened with guidelines in place. And we're not talking just theme parks, just, in general, theaters and all kinds of stuff have reopened. They're restricted, they're social distance, they're masked up, all those things. But they've been able to prove they can open and it's not increased. I mean, they can't point back to that increasing the cases. So why Disneyland and California can't do that is beyond me. Because now we're talking about families and not having any money. How do they think they're going to survive until they reopen these jobs and businesses? There's no money. What are they supposed to do? It's like Newsom where they get paid anyway.
Well, that's the thing. According to Disneyland President Ken Potrock, who sounds like a Flintstones. He
does sound like a Flintstone. I thought that too. He sounds like a Flintstone character. Yes.
According to him and according to the mayor of Anaheim.
He's my favorite vitamin.
Apparently nobody is going to be able to survive that long because we talked about this the other day. Disneyland, it's not just Disneyland that's affected. It's all of Anaheim. Because people come to Anaheim, they stay for a week or whatever, they go to Disneyland, but they're also, staying at the hotels, eating in the restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. The entire economy of Orange County is going to suffer tremendously for this. Lots of jobs. We saw this in Florida, too. Even now, people are getting laid off at hotels.
Right.
Airports and restaurants and all that. And
that's with travel coming back because it's not enough. So they're actually saying they don't want people to come in. And I'm like, you don't want to be, dirtied by the people outside of California. Meanwhile, California had some really high numbers. Other states were blocking people from coming in or making them, quarantine if they'd been anywhere near California because they had such bad numbers. They sent a ship out there to help people. But no, according to Newsom, they handled it much better than some states.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So this is just, this is going to be catastrophic for Disney. Potrock from Disneyland says the state of California continues to ignore the fact that they've opened safely elsewhere, Florida, instead mandating arbitrary guidelines that it knows are unworkable and that hold us to a standard vastly different from other reopened businesses and state-operated facilities.
Now, I am going to say with Florida, I did see some things down there that I was like, like they were not wiping the tables down at Epcot and some other things that would make you a little worried. And I know that in Florida, as Orange County, Mayor Demings has a strike team that's going around and checking in with businesses, and the theme parks are definitely going to be on the list of places they're checking in because they're making sure they're following CDC guidelines. And I think they're going, if people are saying that they're seeing things that aren't up to snuff, they're going in there. And I think that's what's going to happen with Disney World and Universal is because there are some things I'm seeing where people aren't social distancing. People are taking their masks off for things when they're not supposed to be. They're not wiping stuff down like they should be. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that when they send their teams in. But
yeah, to be honest, we were down there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to give props to Universal. I think Universal actually did it better than Disney in terms of just,
And there's a lot of people that are going to both parks now than were when we were down there. Yeah.
So anyway, the mayor of Anaheim put a statement out there. He said businesses are not going to survive. Disney and the city of Anaheim will survive, but too many Anaheim hotels, stores, and restaurants will not survive another year of this.
No, they're not going to, because we're talking like if it stays closed until next summer or even next March, that's a year.
Yeah.
What business can stay in business without some big overlord funding it for that long and not be allowed to open? What are you supposed to do? What are your employees supposed to do? How are you supposed to eat? How are you supposed to take care of your family?
Call China for a loan, I guess. I don't know. This is the thing.
I didn't say what would Disney do. I said how are people supposed to live?
I don't know in regards to Disney. Like, look, guys, I can't stress to you, if Disney World wasn't open, how bad off the Disney company would be. They laid 28,000 people off. They're going to lay more people off now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
For sure.
They were waiting to see.
Yeah, they were hoping. I think they were hoping this is going to be a good bit of news to razzle-dazzle the investors with. Like, guess what, guys? We have an opening date for Disneyland. It's all going to be okay.
Well, not just that. With their shift in focus to streaming and, that kind of stuff, they were going to probably have layoffs anyway. We expected more in regards to that moving forward. I still expect more there too. So I'm just waiting for the announcement of more. I don't know if they'll do it till after the meeting because they're afraid of, taking another stock dive. But
yeah, so this is catastrophic. I feel bad for the cast members out there. Again, we talk to cast members all the time. We know this is going to affect Orange County negatively. People are packing up their businesses and leaving. There's been some scuttlebutt behind the scenes. People were joking, but I don't know how much of a joke it's going to be that Disney might actually move some of its divisions out of California just to avoid something like this.
Yeah, but that won't save the park. If the park's still in California.
No, people are like, well, it was a joke. They were like, oh, they'll just move Disneyland to Texas. I'm like, well, one, they can't really.
It's could, but it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, guys, if you're not using your version of Pirates of the Caribbean and your version of Space Mountain, yeah, we'll take those in Florida. Please just move them over.
There you go.
Like, it's that easy. Like, you can just pick up an underground structure.
Hey, they moved the Carousel Progress to Disney World.
That is true.
They can move things, but it's just a mess. And it's just, I don't understand it. Disney has been pushing and backing, I don't want to make this a political thing, but, they've historically been backing Democrats. They probably backed Newsom and some other stuff, and now it's biting them in the butt. I'm not making this, it's a Republican against Democrat or, pro, if you believe in the virus or not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they've aligned themselves with people that they thought would have their back, they thought were the ones they should be aligned with, and now they're actually just throwing them under the bus too. And they're getting it from all sides at this point.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Disney is getting investigated by Republicans for their ties to the CCP, and then the other side, it's the Democrats aren't happy with the way they're treating their employees. So this is the thing: the Democrats aren't happy with the way they're treating their employees, laying people off. But it's the Democratic governor of California that's shutting down Disneyland indefinitely.
And that's a fact. Sorry if you don't like it.
It is
objectively speaking. That's what it is.
91% of Disney's political giving is to Democrats.
Now, not all Democrats have anything to do with this.
No.
But, their Democratic governors, why they're losing all the people. I'm not saying I agree with Florida's Republican governor most of the time either, but they focused on getting reopened. I think they kind of rushed it personally, but they focused on getting it reopened. They tried to focus on getting business back up and running so people had jobs. And, those people are moving, and now Disney's banking all their money on that. I'm waiting now that they're going to see, look, the park pass availability suddenly increases. Now that California can't open, it's only 25%, people, I swear. There's a bunch more park pass availability. Come on down.
That's the thing.
Wait for 2 hours in line.
Oh, my God. They're going to bleed Disney World dry because, again, Disney World, even when times were good, when things slowed down at the rest of Disney, they would go to the parks for more money. They would start jacking up the ticket prices, jacking up the hotels and the food and all of that.
I'm waiting for paid Fast Pass. They took it down. They haven't brought it back. They're talking about doing virtual queues now for rides like, Millennium Falcon and Jungle Cruise, in addition to the Rise of the Resistance. And everybody's like, why aren't you bringing Fast Pass back? Why aren't you bringing Fast Pass back? And I bet you it'll come back, and I bet you'll come back with some price tags attached.
Oh, I'm sure. So this is just, it's catastrophic. This is a huge blow against Disney. Again, I feel bad for the cast members, but then part of me is like, Disney kind of, they didn't have a backup plan. They never had a backup plan. They just thought that the money was going to pour in forever from these revenues.
No one really could have saw this coming, honestly.
No, but
in this day and age, you would never expected it.
No, but it's definitely going to be interesting to watch Disney. We watch Disney in regards to Marvel and Lucasfilm too. I think they're going to suffer because when the parks suffer, the rest of the company suffers.
Lucasfilm's been suffering. That's not going to make a difference.
And I think
Marvel's been suffering too.
Oh God, yeah.
That's called bad choices. That doesn't do with COVID.
No, but I'm saying
bad choices.
Now the money's running. So the parks can't bankroll all these pet projects they had, all these.
You say pet, I say vanity.
Vanity projects, woke projects, whatever, the stuff that's not actually making money. They're just doing it for high fives on social media. There's not going to be any room for that. But you know what? These companies are stupid. We're seeing it with Warner Media. Like, they're actually going and hiring more activists when the chips are down. So Disney will probably do the same thing.
Gosh, I hope not.
You know, they probably will. They'll be like, oh my God, we're running out of money. We're almost out of money. Quick, let's just do something that people absolutely hate.
From my understanding, according to the article that Pro wrote today, which I did hear the other day, that they were pausing the Tron coaster construction, but they're definitely following through with the Splash Mountain.
Yeah, I about fell out of my chair when I saw this, because I had heard before, the rumor was that they were going to redo Splash Mountain in Disneyland. Well, there's no point now because it's not going to open.
Down, yeah.
Yeah. And then they were going to hold off on redoing Splash Mountain in Disney World because it makes sense in Disneyland because it's attached to the New Orleans square out there. So it's organic. It does make sense to put New Orleans in the middle of Frontierland. Then again, singing, dancing animals really didn't make a lot of sense either, but still.
Reality wasn't what they were going for. But
Right. But the Tron coaster is probably the most anticipated attraction Disney has. And yeah, they're supposedly going to put the brakes on that to make sure that they get this last minute Splash Mountain virtue signaling attraction done, retheming it to Princess and the Frog that literally nobody asked for.
But you know what? Everybody would come for Tron. I mean, this is just dumb. People would come to ride Tron, to ride the new rides. They're not going to come for the retheming of Splash Mountain. Not the way they will, but not in the way they're going to come for Tron or for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. They're going to come for that much more than they're going to come for Splash Mountain's retheme. So this doesn't even make sense. I can't even.
Look,
this world's upside down. It's like Alice in Wonderland. It's a very, very unbirthday to you.
It's a very, very unbirthday to you, Disney. Happy unbirthday. It is not your birthday. It's the opposite. So Disney's going to be, I really think Disney is going to wind up in a state like they were in the 70s and 80s.
I think it might get worse.
Where they almost lost everything.
I think it might get worse.
They've never had the parks down like this.
And they've lost their whole cushion of all the money they had on bad purchases, overpaying, park expansions, putting all their eggs into the Disney Plus basket, all that stuff. They really made some bad choices in the last couple of years and overspent because of just arrogance. Can
you imagine what would have happened if Florida wouldn't have let them reopen Disney World?
That's they'd be really screwed.
And if they hadn't started on Disney Plus?
They'd be out of business. They'd have been bought out by now.
Yeah, they'd be completely just tits up at this point. Nobody wants to see.
Well, now Disneyland's not getting there, and now these studios are helping the theaters, but they're going to want to bank on them next year. I'm not saying that someone coming in and bailing them out for part ownership stake is off the table.
Yeah, because they don't have as much money as people think they do.
And I'm sorry if people don't like hearing this, but you know what? I'll say this like I said in other videos. I'm getting really tired of people acting like, we don't make the news, guys. We just report it. We report it from other news sites and everything else. We're not making up the news. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Take it up with Disney. And take it up with Newsom. It's not our fault that it's not what you want to hear. Same with anything else like Rooster Teeth, etc. Take it up with those people. We're just reporting on what's going on. Sorry you don't like it.
Very merry unbirthday.
I'm playing the smallest violin in the world for you right now. All right. Can we wrap this up?
Yep. Happy unbirthday to all of you. All right. So we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.